Get this show. Okay, so we have the lovely Lynn tonight, sharing her story with us, and the executive run to executive group is always hanging out to hear from experienced people and learn. And I really enjoyed recently doing a session with Lynn at the Perth event, and I thought, why not? Let's get her on here. So I'm going to let Nicole in, and then I'm going to mute all. Uh, oh goodness, I can't remember how to do that. I never can. Okay. Um, okay, here we go. Right, so we are underway. So, as I was saying, I loved the session we did together, Lynn, and this is going to be very casual. And for some reason, you're not coming up on here. I got it on speaker view, but you're not here, so I'm not sure why. Let me just take it off speaker view for a minute. This is really weird. Gallery. Okay, we'll try again. Okay, I'm going to pin you. Here we are. Got you. You're in the middle now. Ba-boom. Okay. So, Lynn, you and I have been with Isogenics, I think, very similar time. Tell us how it all began, how you got involved, and yeah, let's kick off with your story first.
Beautiful. Thank you guys for jumping on as well. And thank you for having me on the call, Heather. So I got introduced to Isogenics the year pretty much 2011. So what was that nearly, is that 14 years ago, thereabouts? Coming up 15 years next year. So I had two pole dancing studios at the time. I was eating really clean. I was exercising probably 12 to 14 hours a week. Um, I just had opened a second studio and my health took a turn. And when I say that, it was more a physical thing that made me do something. I took a pain in my chest that I couldn't lift myself on the pole, so I had to look at something to help me because the doctors couldn't help me. Now, my good friend who had a business next door, he said, "Look, this box of products, um, it's amazing. I don't know what it'll do for you, but I think it'll help get your health back on track." But obviously, coming from, clean eating and exercise background, yes, I was reluctant, but I was so flippin' desperate. I took the box and I ate it. Now, I didn't have any weight to lose at the time. He'd lost 29 kilos. I was tiny. In fact, I needed to gain weight, if anything. It wasn't a goal of mine, but that's how I looked. So took about 5 weeks, I'd say, for me to notice a difference. One, because I didn't use the products exactly correctly, because it was all very new and bizarre that you did cleanse days and didn't eat food because, my stomach thought my throat was cut the first time I did that. But fast forward, I would say it would have been about 3 months into it. I was like, no, there's something in this. I definitely do feel different. So I got all the massive health benefits, but because I was so wired, I mean, they knew what I was like because I was already teaching pole a year. So it was more that my energy levels went insane. I was doing 4 hours of pole back to back and still bouncing off the roof. Um, my body changed so much so that I ended up, I think I gained 9 kilos of muscle and I stripped to 13% body fat, which was insane because I wasn't trying to get that lean. Now, the business was something I did not want to do. It was definitely a business by default for me because I love people. And so I'd have the girls come into the class. They were tired. They were complaining, having not slept, just stressed, overweight, wanting to lose weight, so they could do more moves on the pole, whatever that was. So mine was very much initially just sharing the products, very much ignorance on fire. Now, I don't know how you can pull this apart in what depth you want, but I'm going to say after then, I would say 5 years of consistently doing this, it came to a point where Isogenics paid me more than my two businesses put together. And I had only ever built this part time. very much part-time. And I'm going to say 2 hours a day. Some days it was more, some days it was less, but definitely around about that. Um, it for me, I've always built my business my way. I've built mostly in person initially. It was, using Facebook groups, we would pop people into Facebook groups. But as of late, the last number of years, I haven't done that. I haven't found that as successful because of all the algorithms and everything changing. So 14 years, no, it took me 10 years then. So the 5 year mark, I was able to sell my businesses. And at the 10 year mark is when I became one of the legacy members, which I was shocked at because I didn't know. And obviously, I'm still building and still growing. I went through a period of maintenance mode, which is what I'm sure all of us have gotten into at some point, and realized that, oh, maintenance mode and kind of reaching out to my builders and making sure they were doing everything. I stopped doing the do. And therefore, I did notice my business suffer a little bit from that. And then I was like, oh, okay, so I really have to be in the game and enrolling all the time as well. So went back to that. But again, circumstances, life throws curveballs, and it's always going to do that. Um, I've come to a position now where, I think I'd shared with different people, but, I went through a difficult time of, moving state um, to where I knew no one with a partner of mine, falling pregnant, losing the baby, followed a month later by having to fly to Ireland. And then my mum passed away, followed by, it was just everything came at once. Lost the relationship, lost my dog that same year, had a massive operation health wise for fibroid removal. And so, really, Isagenix was not at the forefront of my mind. I couldn't help myself, and therefore I couldn't help other people. I just couldn't at the time. And that's not an excuse for you. I'm just letting you know where I was and how my build has always been like a roller coaster ride. So it's definitely not been a straight line like that. It has definitely been up and down and up and down, gradual up, and absolutely it has worked gradual down, but it's re-inspired me to want to build again. So, I mean, to be honest with you, when I say to you I've built this business in the pockets of my time, I've never really been necessarily able to put hours to it, because I'm on the beach walking the dog, and I'll connect with someone, and we'll chat, and then next thing we're Facebook friends, and then I'm constantly in private messages with people. I've never been the best Facebook poster, um, because I don't follow like rigid things like that. And I think that's possibly my self-diagnosed ADHD brain. Um, and that is how my business has worked for me. But some core principles have always remained the same. You know, I had to grow my network. So you have to do find ad message every single day. And if you don't do it every single day, give yourself a goal for the week and do that. So grow the network, connect to the
Just
network.
clarify that. Find add message. Just
So FAM, find add message is done every day. For me, it's actually removing people and adding new people to my network because I had too many friends. And some people that I would have been friends with years ago or hadn't checked their accounts, I will then remove them because they're not my kind of people. And so I just want to remove them so that I can create space in my cinema, as it were, for new viewers of what I do post and who I can connect with who are more like-minded. So I will go to the friend suggestions. I will take a look down the friend suggestions. Sometimes I'll just hit add if I'm in a hurry. Sometimes I'll go in, see who they are, the mutual connections, if they're really quite scattered and random. That's kind of good for me. I'll add them and then I'll message them. And I'll just say, oh gosh, how do you know so and so? Or thanks for accepting my friend request. How do you know so and so? I went to school with them, haven't seen them for years, but they're also connected to this girl who I've met down the beach. So that is my rapport building. So I'm growing my network, I connect with them. I'm not trying to sell them isogenics. I'm trying to see who they are, what's going on for them, and what's happening in their life. I always happy birthdays when I don't know what else to do, or the first thing when I pick up my phone, I do happy birthdays. Because when you have a network of 5,000 people, there's birthdays every single day, right? And that is a great rapport builder. Going and checking on those people's profiles, but intentionally, and commenting and liking is something I've found very helpful, because it's very rare that I will sit and scroll Facebook now, because Facebook will eat up all of your time, as will Instagram. And I'm a squirrel. So when I set a timer, um, I do find, well, with a nootropic, because that's about the only thing that will keep my mind on track. Um, I will sit and I will only do what I'm allowed to do, and I will only go into those people's profiles that I want to connect with. All right. Something I've found very useful is color coordinating. So in my diary, I have color coordinating for what I have these people for. So if you'd like me to share that with you, I mean, I use black and they're in there to write their name if I'm just building rapport with these people and trying to find out a bit more about them, who they are, what they're all about. I'll use red. Um, if they've been prospected, like if I've shared Isagenix in any capacity with them, or they've noticed in my stories or whatever, I'll do green for all my customers. I'll do blue for anyone who has does any capacity of business, right? And then they'll get a highlighter as well for anyone who's in that red that I've shared Isagenix with, because I know that they're kind of ready, but they're waiting maybe for a deal. So when I flick back my diary, because I'm very old fashioned and I like my diary rather than spreadsheets, I'll flick back through and I'll go, God, I forgot about them. I need to just follow them up and check if they're still, because there's a deal on at the moment, and they said to let them know when there was a deal on, or the time wasn't right. It might be the right time now. Um, so another thing as well, which Irene Miller probably would have said to me right at the start, is be interested. So you can't just go, people don't care what you have to say until they know how much you care about them. And that is in the rapport building. But try to be really interested. You've got to ask more questions. You've got to be more curious with people. We all are struggling. We've all got our own shit going on in our lives, but people want to know that you want to listen to theirs. And that's our biggest tool. You got two ears and one mouth. So, listen twice as much as you speak. And it's so hard because we're ignorance on fire. And we're just so excited about this. But unless you're in these little groups and part of these little, this community, you don't get it. And you're not as excited as what everybody else out there is. They're just doing their life on repeat for some people. But yeah, this is the thing. You could only be one, you could be one conversation or one teammate away from the best business ever. You really don't know. And so that's why I always say just don't stop, because you don't know what your life. For me, I don't know what my life would have looked like if somebody hadn't offered this to me, you know. And even if my income has dropped at times, I still don't want to go back and work for someone else again. So what are my options? Either get another job, start another business, you know what I mean? So you've really got to look at what you have in your hands with this business. And like I say, it is, even if you can dedicate, even if it was just the 333 every single day, it really comes down to that. So right back in the beginning, and I'm getting back to doing that now. Another thing, when you're helping people build, I was not one, yes, looking at the back office and reports and stuff, but I was not one for constantly looking at my cycles. I was always more inspired by looking at my consultants' cycles and seeing where they were, because then I didn't have to worry about mine. I knew mine were just naturally going to grow as a result. So I was either enrolling people or watching my people's cycles, because I just knew if I could just help them get what they wanted, I knew everything that I wanted would come. All right. I did not build my business through, I'm not an in-home presentation kind of girl. I, I like my home space is my home space. So I've never built like that. I've never built on social media per se. I use social media as an amazing tool to stay connected to people, but I'm an in-person person. Also, not just an in-person person, I'm a three-way call kind of person as well. So if you don't know what three-way calls are, I literally would say to my team, like Orlando, who I saw today, he said, Lynn, he cannot believe how good his sleep is. And as I said to him, if you're speaking to someone who's struggling with sleep or energy or whatever, you just say, look, I'm a dog trainer. I don't know anything about this stuff other than the fact that it makes me sleep better. Let me do you a favor. Let me see if my friend Lynn's available to get on a quick call. She can tell you more about it. She can find out if it's going to be the right fit for you, and you can decide based on that. But you got nothing to lose. And so we always, all my team did three-way calls. Um, Another thing, I know it is drummed into us about daily consistent action. And I don't want to throw that out the window because that's going to work for some people. My ADHD brain doesn't work like that, is what I've noticed over 14 years. I will always get the job done and I will always be effective and finish everything, but I might be very scattered. I was chaos and a mess making and building this, but I will still get the same result because there's so many different ways to roam. So just don't knock yourself. It is just in the doing. It's not in the posting if you're not in the conversations. So don't waste your time trying to think about how you're going to do all these posts if you're not in conversations with people. The conversations is where it's at. The phone calls, the messages, that's really where you're going to get. And also, if you do get rejections, I mean, just ask people for their permission to stay in contact, or ask for their permission. Is it okay if I circle back round to you? Because I don't want them ghosting me or ignoring me, which happens anyway. But, I don't take it personally and I say that. I remember enrolling someone that I think I'd contacted them 17 times over the space of 2, 3 years with not one single reply, ghosted every single message. But I don't take it personally. Do you know what I mean? Because that person will come when they're ready in their looking window. Um, what else can I tell you? So, I also turned my mindset from how can I get, because it was always how can I get these people to start? How can I get these people on this call? How can I get? How can I get? It was more, I turned it to how am I going to help this person? What's going to be the best strategy or the best way to help this particular person? Maybe this person needs me to listen to them some more. Maybe this person needs me to offer. Maybe this person needs me to ask more questions. It was really, I found that whole change of heart brought my energy, the woo woo stuff, from a different space. And then all of a sudden, the enrollment started to come again. Like I said, I did the 5 last month. I've done 3 this month so far. So I did feel that my energy, when I've changed my energy around to that and focused all about them, it is coming. Something really important that I want to touch on is the comparison thing. You do not need every Facebook leader or not Facebook leader, every Isogenics leader or every Isogenics person that you know. You don't need them to be your friend on Facebook. Don't let them take up your spaces as your friends. Please, please, please. Follow them if they inspire you or if you want to know more about them. It's for a couple of reasons. One, it takes up the space, but two, if you find yourself watching these people, you're either going to be inspired or you're going to feel guilty because you're not doing it. So don't do that. If it's going to make you feel worse about yourself, get in your own lane. You do business your way because it can be absolutely detrimental. Because here's the thing, all those ones who are really successful, half the time you don't know their stories. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what their drive is. You don't know their why. So you just get in your own lane. All right. Um, you've covered this numerous times before, and obviously Alicia has done a great job and she's incredible with social media. If you're going to do it and keep it basic, I always just say the RVL, the results, value, lifestyle. Yeah, posting results, posting about your lifestyle, and post something of value that you can add to someone. And more talking towards the pain point. That's the pain. I feel like I have to change my accent for everyone. The pain point. You target the pain point of what the people are going through, then give them the solution. All right. Also in building, in terms of helping others build in this business, we can skull drag and we can want this so much more for someone else than they want it for themselves, and they're going to tell us they need it, and it's life or death when let their results and their actions do more than what they um, tell you, because over the years, people will take up your time if you let them. They will take your energy if you let them. So when if you're finding yourself constantly on a call with someone who says they're going to do it, but are literally doing nothing each time, and it's almost like they want to get re-inspired every time, like they get that hit from you, you need to respect your time. So mine went from 1 hour calls to half-hour calls to 15-minute calls to not, because I was like, you're not, I don't want to give all my time away, right? So just something to be mindful of. What's kept me, and it's funny, we were talking about this today as well, or you mentioned something earlier, Heather. Um, when your passion for something is undeniable and your belief in this unshakable, you're in here for the long haul. Whether you're kind of doing a roller coaster ride, that's okay, but you're in for the long haul. 14 years later, you still can't take my results away from me, even though it's done different things all along the way. 14 years of this and having built where I've built, I know the potential because I've reached the highs. There's no other better option out there that I would enjoy more. So you need to know that this is the long game. What else are you going to do if you don't do this? Because here's the thing, the number of people, I just spoke to a girl today who built with me right in the beginning. And she built when she felt it was all the hype. Now she's still got her account. She built to executive. And then she fell away because of life circumstances and whatever her excuse. Now she's ready to build again. But as she said to me, Lynn, I want the clear tracks. I want you to tell me like the find ad message, the results, value, lifestyle, how many to post to. She wants like actual stuff to do, to go through Isogenics business, the ANZ, to watch the videos so she knows if that's a video person to what to send them, to know all the promotions. This is the next step. Right. So if you haven't done those, do that. But that needs to be done, not in place of the connecting with people. That's to be done on the side of as you grow yourself to grow your business to get better. Um, and honestly, this will be the biggest test of your own resilience and determination. Because, like I say, life's always going to throw curveballs at you. But is there something specific you'd love me to touch on? Because I feel like that's probably me in a nutshell. And I don't know, hopefully you've taken some value from that.
I'd love anybody to unmute because we're a small group right now and ask any questions of Lynn. I just want to say that, Lynn, you encapsulate the whole authenticity of this. And that's what I love about the way you work. I know that you are an absolute product of the product. You speak fluently about the product. And you do follow exactly what you said, which is you now, over the years of learning, work with the people who want to work with you. And this woman is an absolute natural rapport builder. Like, you go for a walk with her with a dog, and you would be, it would take a half an hour walk would take 2 hours because she'd be stopping and talking to everybody who's got a dog in sight. So, and genuine connection. And then I've seen you do it just beautifully. Like, hey, I'd love to stay in touch. Let's connect on Facebook. And away you go. You are a real natural at that. So
But
I love that.
can I just mention just on that, please know that you don't have to be friends with all your customers. You don't need to be friends with everyone. Because what I've learned over these years is don't connect with someone just to sell them isogenics. If you don't like them, don't be friends with them. Like really don't, because you're gonna have to talk to them. And also it's okay for someone to be a product user and just purchase products of you. You don't need to be there for every drama in their life. All right. So that is a huge thing because that will drain your energy and take up all your time. And you'll spend all day, every day in messages. I've had some of my team leave the business because they felt the business has drained them. The business didn't drain them. They just couldn't have the boundaries to know that I will match energy and not just let people take from me. Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Any other question? What's your favorite product, Lynn? I'm curious. Like if you had to be on a desert island, you could only have one product, what would it be?
Well, if I never had to work again, it would be Ionics, just because I just love the taste of it. But if I did have to work, I need nootropic to do any sort of work these days to keep my brain focused.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
Ionics absolutely to the death. I love it.
Great.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's really good. Then, well, I don't know. Does everyone know what a legacy club member is?
They probably don't know.
Probably don't. But that is a huge milestone. That's $1 million, right? Yeah. So, it's really powerful that we can see that you've been able to build to that level, and even though you dropped off, you're still in the game, right? So to be at that level, and then life happens, and like you said, I loved how you said, "What else are you going to do?" Because that's exactly how I feel. Because I don't want to do anything. I don't want a boss. I've had bosses. I'm like over bosses. I love health, I love people, and I love the product. So what else are you going to do? And I think when you get that straight in your head, you can get through the ups and downs a bit better. Then if you're not sure if this is for you, or you've got a backstop somewhere, or you think it's potentially not the way you want to go, then as soon as you hit some rocky roads, it can be, the way out. So you've got to have that unshakable belief that this is for you. And then every time you post and every time you talk to somebody, that comes through, and that's where the authenticity comes from, and you ooze that.
Thank you. A lot of people say, "Oh my God, you're still doing that," because obviously it's nearly 15
Mm.
years. They're like, you're still doing Isogenics. I'm like, are you kidding me? I
Yeah.
would never stop. Like I couldn't. Like the number of people that approached me over the years to jump to other companies, I'm like, I don't even want to look. I don't care. I don't care. You do you. I'll do me. If
Yeah.
unless Isogenics shut down, I won't go anywhere else. Why would I? They have given me a life. I can fly to Ireland twice a year. When mommy was dying, I got to, mommy passed away a week after I got there. I stayed for 2 months to help do everything. Isogenics paid me every week.
Mm.
Like the gratitude. Are you kidding me? This company has done so much. And what you guys have on the table now is way more than what we ever had available to us. The bonuses, the promotions is just crazy. I mean, good job I don't compare, because what you get now is you should be hitting millionaire quicker than what I have. And that was 10 years part-time, 100,000 US dollars. That's a lot of money. And even just helping those families make $500 a week or a month. That's huge for so many people. So we have to meet people where they're at, you know? But thank you, Rachel.
I love that.
No, it's great to hear other people's stories because everyone builds so differently, and there's no right or wrong. You've just got to go with what works for you and your personality.
Yeah. Yeah. You do what feels right for you and lands right with them, obviously. But yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you, Lynn. I think one of the key things that I've taken out of this, and I always write notes, and I always, the reminders of things like, find add message, the reminders of, whether it's 333 or whether it's, 10 a day or whatever it is, have some system. But I also love the fact that you say, if it's not every single day, you may have, and I got from you that you might have a week goal for the whole week. This is what I'm going to achieve. And I've worked with Lynn over the last few months. And even when she was in, where were you? Russia, not Russia.
Turkey, Turkey, Ireland, somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere, Greek islands or Turkey. You were in Turkey. She was still going, okay, I'm going to make sure that I talk to this many people over the week, but I might not do it today. And I love that of you. And three-way calls. It is the best thing because I promise you that there are people out there that don't talk to someone else because they think, I have no idea why this is working for me and I can't possibly coach someone else. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. But if you have that conversation, like Lynn said, and you suggest to them that all they need to do is just put you in a chat with them, that's it, it's done. And you'll have people enrolling because it's easy for them because you help them. So
Yeah. The last thing I just want to finish with is don't beat yourself up to what you haven't done to now. You can start right now. There's still time. Okay. It only matters what you do from now forward. Okay. So don't beat yourself up for what you haven't done. Just
okay.
keep going.
Thank you, Lynn. We will finish up there and I will see you all in half an hour. See you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
See
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.